The Hasanabi dude on Insta is cringe as fuck. You're absolutely right. You're fucking correct. That dude is super cringe, dude. Anyway. All right. So let's get started. As far as where do I want to start? I want to start off with Meghan McCain, most likely. The gun industry is, of course, preparing for a surge in demand after back-to-back mass shootings, which is an incredible story, an incredible headline. It's just so America. The greatest nation on earth, baby. Americans bought record number of guns in 2020 because of the BLM protest, because everyone was getting ready, brother. Getting ready for onslaught, getting ready for war, brother. And as you all, some of you do not know this, and you're about to find out, but famously, Americans buy more guns under Democratic leadership. Usually the highest point of gun sales occurs under Democratic establishments right after a mass shooting, because everyone goes out and purchases the gun because they assume that that gun is going to get banned. Now, they're stupid for assuming that that gun is going to get banned, because come on, gun manufacturers, baby. They're way too powerful to ever have any sort of, any sort of gun get banned. This is their bread and butter, but
never felt she needed a gun.
You know, another high point of gun sales was another high point of gun sales is during times of conflict.
Until now.
Which is coming now.
Mother of 3, she bought a Smith & Wesson and is learning how to shoot because the world she knew has changed.
I feel really scared.
Ammunition came from...
After Arzu got her gun, her girlfriend bought one too, and it didn't stop there.
And then my college friend, who's a guy that I asked to come with me to buy the gun because I was nervous to buy the gun, actually got his gun last week. So you're welcome, gun industry.
Industry data shows Americans in 2020 armed themselves in record numbers, buying 23 million firearms. In January, in Michigan, background checks for firearms were up more than 150% from the previous January.
Well, I can't believe it, brother. They're doing background checks. What kind of pussies live in Michigan, huh? Background checks? I don't understand it. Why do I need a background check to purchase a murder dildo that God told me I could have? Yeah, what about you're potentially taking guns away from law-abiding citizens with this background check?
In New Jersey, they were up 240%.
Everybody knows in New Jersey there's a lot of hunting going on, you know. There's a lot of hunting going on in the great state of New Jersey. Now, there is actually hunting spots in New Jersey, for the record. Like, I have friends from, like, fucking bumfuck Cherry Hill and shit. They used to hunt. But the difference is, like, these people are not getting, there isn't an increase in hunting in New Jersey. It's just, people are, as I said, afraid of Black Lives Matter protesters coming down and knocking down their doors. So they need guns. That's what.
The surge began last March with the uncertainty of the pandemic. Then came a summer of protest, followed by political turmoil.
So kind of perfect storm in terms of demand for firearms.
At Stoddard's Range and Guns in Atlanta, the guns haven't changed much, but the customers have.
We see a lot of women come in, a lot of couples, people with children. We're really seeing pretty much every walk of life.
Philip Smith of the National African American Gun Association says they're seeing about 1,000 new members a month. Are you seeing a lot of first-time gun buyers?
I say about 70% of the people walk.
America's so fucking weird because, like, liberals and even some leftists look at this and they're like, no, liberation only comes at the barrel of a gun. Like, it's great that black people are buying more guns in higher quantities. It's like, I just don't understand that. I'm sorry. People always ask me, like, what do you think about the Not Fucking Around Coalition? What do you think about, like, black people arming themselves and whatnot? While I understand that, while I understand how some people might feel about arming themselves, especially at times when they see that the police force is not there to help them, I still think it's absolutely a horrible idea to bring a fucking AR-15 to a protest, especially because it is an immediate escalating presence. So I find it I find it really silly when people do that. And I have always had this position. I've consistently said this, even though people expect me to fucking say shit like, oh my God, it's great. Like, black people are buying guns. That's great. Like, no, it's not great. I wish that less guns were being sold, and I wish that there were less guns in circulation overall. The only potential positive consequence to this is that if more black people have guns, then white racist people are going to be very scared about that reality and potentially push for gun control. You know what I mean?
Walking through the door for NAGA are first-time gun owners.
Medical experts warn research.
Oh my God, I
shows
banned that guy.
explosive growth.
Wait, I banned that fucking Turkish dude. Oh no, can you unban that guy? He was literally just saying the fucking the name of the coalition. I'm sorry. I thought he was trying to say the N-word. My bad. I literally didn't realize that that's just like the N-A-G-A is the name of the There was a dude in the chat who was like saying the abbreviation, and I thought he was just like sneakily trying to say the N-word, and I banned them.
NAGA are first-time gun owners.
Medical experts warn research shows the explosive growth of gun sales will trigger another kind of health crisis, a rise in homicides, suicides, and serious injury.
We know that most of these unintentional injuries happen to family members or children. So actually owning a gun is a dangerous thing in and of itself.
When it comes to self-protection,
it really
Evan
is.
says face masks and hand washing would be safer and more effective. Back at the range, Sira Arzu says when she...
It's not an unfortunate naming. I low-key feel like this is not the first black group that I've seen abbreviate like that. I feel like they do it on purpose to just like fuck with white people. You know what I mean? Because it's not the first. It's not. There was another like black armed liberation group or whatever that like literally abbreviated in a way where it made it seem like they were not NFAC. No, there's another one. There was another one that we were better than watching your son's neck slit in front of you having a gun. Yes, dude. Yeah, dude. Like Captain Blackbeard in the fucking hull of a ship. Your son's neck is gonna be slit in front of you. Like, what kind of fucking weirdo? What kind of weirdo fantasy world do some of you guys live in where you're like, I can't believe my son's throat was slit in front of me. Thank God I have my Glock on me so I could stop that from happening. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, what do you think you're in fucking feudal Japan? Right? Like, you have like a fucking samurai after you, dude? Like, what the fuck? Not actual victims, so they fantasize about it. Yeah, like, literally, dude. It's like so insane. It's so insane when people just say stuff like that. I need to have my AR-15 because what if a death squad comes knocking down my door to force feminize my daughters? I need to stop them with my AR-15, which is tactically modded out to make sure that I have heat-seeking missiles.
She's not practicing. She keeps her new gun locked away, hoping she never needs it, but takes comfort knowing it's there in uncertain times.
Oh, wouldn't they want their daughters to be feminine? Sorry. Force feminize my sons. See, I called them daughters already. I misgendered them. The liberal agenda.
It's like a security blanket, you know?
Martin Savage, CNN, Atlanta.
It's already working. I called them daughters when they're my sons. Oh no, I need a gun to fix this problem. Anyway, it's too soon. Look at it. It's too soon to know that back-to-back shootings will affect the sales of firearms. Well, we have a way to know. Yeah, I sound like fucking Sure for is a character, Kenny Hawk, right? Lenny's inbred brother. Gonna ignore the article for the meme. Cool. What? Anyway, so we don't have the numbers yet, but of course, every time a Democrat wants to push for gun control, gun sales increase dramatically, and of course, that's because everyone loves owning the fucking libs. Okay. Yeah, here it is. You see, times of social unrest that revolve around black people, and also mass shootings that inspire gun control legislation are the bread and butter of the gun manufacturers. This is how gun controls. This is how this is how it works. Monthly firearm sales increased dramatically at a time. Hold on. I'm gonna actually twat that out. After Parkland, there wasn't like a massive hike. There was still a significant hike, but not a massive one because, you know, they were relatively protected. Never forget, of course, that after Parkland, the only gun control or the only gun-related legislation that was passed in the state of fucking Florida was the pilot program that armed teachers against the interests of the coalition of teachers in the state of Florida. So Americans did take action after Parkland. The state of Florida did take action after Parkland, which was a reimbursement program to give $500 to teachers who would buy guns at a time when teachers were crying about having to pay for school supplies out of pocket. They were able to find money to reimburse. They were able to find funds and reimburse teachers for purchasing weapons. Incredible. At a time when they were upset about not being able to fund their own school supplies. So that's where we were at. You see this after every shooting? Yes, because my job is basically saying the same things over and over again into a void until the people that hear what I'm saying decide they're more woke than me and move on to other shit. And the new group comes in and they're like, oh, wow, this is some new and unique information I had never found out about before. And then they listen to it and then they find out and then they move on. And I just repeat the cycle endlessly because things never fucking change in America. This is it. I have made a career out of repeating myself for the past 10 years almost, where I literally say the same exact things over and over and over and over again. And it sometimes feels like I am literally yelling into a fucking void. Okay? Kamala and Biden are doing a presser right now saying don't come to the border now. Yeah. It is helping. You're teaching so many people. Yeah, I don't know. Joe Manchin on infrastructure wants to go big and pay for it by raising taxes. Yeah, Joe Manchin is on board with a fat infrastructure bill, which is great, but that's pretty much it. That's the only time that Joe Manchin has ever been positive. He said that he was on board with the infrastructure bill from before. Kirsten Cinema, it's simple. Equal work deserves equal pay. I don't know why she even fucking tweets. She's such a piece of shit. Anyway, How's your hand today? It hurts a little bit. I'm so fucking mad. I was so mad last night when I got fucking owned by stairs. The Parkland cop was not what a good guy with a gun did, but what happened in Colorado is an example of what happens when there's a good guy with a gun, but that guy still got shot. The good guy with a gun myth is just created by the fucking NRA. It's not a legitimate myth. It's not a legitimate reason to have a murder dildo that is unregulated in nature. Okay? It is just a fantasy of Western watching conservatives who think that who think that they are going to rise up to the occasion. The real good guy with a gun situation oftentimes occurs in instances like Kenosha. That is the real fantasy. That is exactly what happens. You go to a situation, you put yourself in a situation with an AR-15 where you can get a legal kill, okay? And you end up getting a legal kill and you fuck your entire life up. You murder fucking people and then you murder other people when you're running away from them. And that is the real good guy with a gun scenario. That is what happens in real life, not the, oh, there's going to be a hero here who's going to fucking tactically roll and snipe this dude's hand and like shoot the gun out of his hand and save everyone, and then everyone's going to want to fuck him immediately after that. Like that's just the shower fantasies of conservatives. The real good guy with a gun situation is when you put yourself in harm's way on purpose, knowing that there's an area of conflict somewhere, knowing that you could potentially use your gun for the first time on a real human being, and then you end up doing it, and you get into a lot of fucking legal trouble, and your life is changed for the rest of your life, and you also end up fucking murdering a bunch of people. Like the fantasy that happened in Texas? Oh, you mean after a guy fucking rolled into a church and murdered half of the fucking town, and then actually ended up driving away? That fantasy in Texas? The reason why you have to rush to anecdotes, which I am familiar with, by the way, the reason why you try to rush to anecdotes immediately without looking at the actual data itself is because it doesn't happen all that frequently. It's like whenever people try to make an argument that immigrants are dangerous, so they go to like one time where like there was an actually very violent undocumented immigrant, right? And you just literally point to that and you go, oh, like, well, remember that one fucking undocumented immigrant? Well, like, he murdered someone. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that, like, undocumented immigrants across the board are never going to commit crimes. Of course, they are capable of committing crimes just like anyone else, sometimes violent crimes. The reality, however, is that the data shows a very different situation, that undocumented immigrants are less likely to do crimes than natural-born U.S. citizens. There's not a lot of data available on this issue for obvious reasons. It's hard to collect. But the data that is available it shows a different reality. Anyway. I think you were referring to the guy who walked into a church and killed 3 people, was shot and killed by this old guy with a gun. That wasn't in Texas. That was another one. But I remember that. I remember that one too. Yes, that was one instance. Okay, I'll give you that. I know what you're talking about. I watched that. That video was fucking sick. That was in Texas? I thought that was somewhere else. I mean, he still fucking killed people, but which is, kind of defeats the purpose, but it was fucking dope. It was dope to see. I remember inside of the fucking church where that old guy just fucking claps the shooter. Again, look at the data and realize that doesn't happen routinely, though. Talking about the black guy who got killed by the police in the mall, who was the good guy with a gun. Yeah, in a lot more instances, the good guy with a gun actually confuses police officers and ends up getting shot too. So there is also that. Did you tweet that you're live? Yeah, I did tweet that I'm live, but I tweeted it early. No, fuck the data. You got rolled. Exactly. Okay. Even people who have taken gun courses and lessons, the instructors will break down that myth and tell you that you have no idea who the good and bad guys are when you're in the shit. An active shooter scenario is chaotic. Exactly, which is why we joke about all the fucking instances where fucking we used to watch those like tactical shooting drills and shit like that, and they'll always be like, I'm a responsible licensed gun owner. I'm a responsible licensed gun owner. Like, it's just fucking bullshit, okay? Like, that should never be a problem. That should never be an instance where that's like a real issue, but it is, because we live in America, so. Anyway. Yeah, Philando Castile is a horrific but good example for this instance of a responsible gun owner who was murdered by Geronimo Yanez. He did everything. He followed what you're supposed to do as a responsible licensed gun owner, and he still got fucking murdered. And the justice system let his murderer go. It happens a lot. Anyway, how often do instances like Kyle Rittenhouse happen? Not frequently. It's not that frequently. Here's the real problem with gun violence, okay? The real problem with gun violence still, of course, stems from the socioeconomic conditions that force people into violent crimes, okay? A lack of opportunity, a lack of education, or a lack of just a lack of how do I describe it? Yeah, a lack of fucking opportunity. That's the best way to describe it. Being forced into a life of violent crime. This has been the same in perpetuity. This has been the same since the fucking days of Socrates, okay? It's not any different. It's not the rap music. It's not the fucking violence in video games. Not any of that dumb shit, okay? People do this. People do violent crimes because they have no other option. No one wants to do violent crimes for the sake of violent crimes. Well, some people do, but those people are either psychopaths or very fucking spoiled. Most people do violent crimes because they're stuck. Okay? The real problem with gun violence also stems from the other side of the gun violence that does not pertain to the socioeconomic conditions is accidents. Like having a gun dramatically, and this might be shocking for some, increases the chances of you getting shot by it on accident and suicide. Okay? So it is much like many other problems in America, a powder keg for violent behavior and this sort of horrible shit happening because of the multitude of factors that contribute to this being the problem that it is. Okay? Going forward, when people ask me, like, why does this shit happen? I'm just going to say America. Because all of the wonderful things that happen in America, that is the reason why there's so many issues. And if you look at the data, you will recognize this reality. As Jim Jeffries also eloquently puts, you're much more likely to use a gun on yourself than a home intruder. Exactly. You're much more likely to have your child use the gun on you or themselves than a fucking home invasion or an intruder that's like robbing you or some shit like that. Those who carry guns often have their own guns used against them, and a civilian gun is more likely to be killed than to kill the attacker. Yeah.